Hello, welcome back to Bumble Stitches and a very happy new year to you all. Today is Monday. I had to think about the day, but I know the date. It's the 1st of January 2024. So I hope you all had a very happy New Year celebration, whatever you chose to do last night. And as is customary at this time of year, I thought we would do a WIP parade. Now I have got an embarrassingly large amount of WIPs in front of me on my table here, and I'm going to be ruthless carrying through into this year. I'm taking no prisoners. If I know I'm not going to stitch on something, I'm going to try and figure out whether I can make something from the portion that is stitched, maybe a pincushion or a bag or a strawberry or something like that. If it's a tiny bit of stitching, I might just chop it off and put the fabric back into circulation. But yes, I'm going to be ruthless. I really want to get my WIPs down this year and try and be a bit more mindful in what I start. Having said that, I did start 12 new Christmas projects in December. There are a series of videos, which are the Flossmas videos, which precede this video. So I won't be including those WIPs today, other than the WIP that I'm currently working on, which was one of those, if that makes sense. So everything is random. It's not in any particular order. Some of these are very old, you would have seen before, some of them not so old. So let's get started. Okay, the first one, I'm just going to grab the bag that's on the top. I'll quickly show you the bags. This is a bag made by me. And in here we have, I've done no sort of preparation for this, I'm afraid, so we're just going to have to wing it, and I think you're going to need a drink or something, so I think it's going to be a long one. So in here we have Hands-On Designs Tomato, and this is being stitched on. Now, did I make a start on this? I did make a tiny, this is a tiny start. Just of the, excuse my boo-boo on my finger. I cut my finger the other day and it's still quite a nasty cut. So that's my start on that. This is on a piece of 36 count linen from Paula, Eva Faith. I'm using all the called for colours for this one. They're in a bit of a tangly mess. As I said, this is not going to be pretty. This is just honest getting out of WIPs and going through them. And for the tomato itself, I've got a piece of the Weeks Aztec Red, and this is a 32 count linen. So that is WIP number one. That one is staying. I'm working on getting some tomato projects for my sewing room, so that one can go back into the basket. This next one is in a Lorry Holt for, I think it's a Lorry Holt, yeah, Be In My Bonnet bag for It's So Emma. And in here, this is an old one, and in here I have, if I can find the picture of the chart, I have Vintage Housewife. As you can see, lots of little sort of kitchen domestic icons there. Really pretty, but the problem I have with this one, and you will see when I get my WIP out, is I was not loving that stitched, again this is a bit crumpled, that stitched border. I was not enjoying the flow of that gingham, so I think this one may have to bite the dust. It's super cute. I'm not going to get rid of the pattern or anything like that, the chart. I may go back to it. I may even finish this little piece off and make a little pillow. But yeah, as a whole thing, for now, that one is going to be ditched. So I'm going to put that one separately. Okay, the next one is about as old as my floss tube. It's in this bag that I made using Rifle Paper Company fabric. This is also the fabric I used for the back of my Jane Austen pillow, if you saw that towards the end of last year. And in here is Anniversaries of the Heart, and I'm using various flosses because a lot of the dye lots I found weren't really showing true. And let me just show you my progress on this. If you're familiar with this project, it's a bit of a beast. So this is where I am at the moment. I can't see what you're seeing in the screen. Hopefully you can see everything. Yeah, so I made great guns. This has been ongoing for a long time, probably about 3 years now. So this is one really in 2024 that I need to get to grips with, because I'm not going to ditch this. I love it too much, and I always love it when I get it out. But that hasn't been for quite a while. So this is Anniversaries of the Heart. I'm stitching this on a 30 count. I can tell you because I've got my old cross stitch journal here. And if I just find the pages for that, which is, if I look in the index, that would help, wouldn't it? Anniversaries of the Heart. It's a 30 count legacy linen, and it's pecan shortbread is the fabric that I'm using. I've done lots of, particularly on the first block, if that's of use to anybody, feel free to screenshot that. I did lots of changes, particularly on the first block. So yes, I do need to get back to that one. So that one's definitely going into the basket and needs to be folded up a little bit neater. Okay, next one. This is my most recent WIP. I told you these are not in any particular order. This is in a bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags, and this is my latest start, and it's the Jingle Around the Block by Kathy from Hands On Designs, and that's the picture. This is the class from the Jingle Ball that just took place at the beginning of December last year. I'm using all the called for, including the fabric, and this is my progress so far. This is a 28 count ivory. It's showing bright white, but it's actually ivory. This is an ivory cashel, and using all the called for DMC. And this is one, this is a Christmas project that I am going to be keeping out because I really want to get this one stitched up and done. And it's really fun. You can see the fun colours, really fun design. So that one is a keeper, of course. Next up, this is another bag that I made using a Lori Holt cheetah print. Some rickrack, and just did a bit of quilting on that one. I'm showing you the bags because I like to see the bags when I'm watching WIP parades. So now in here I've got a bit of a double whammy. Quite a few of my project bags have got more than one project in, and this is why it's actually quite shocking when I got them all out, because they're not all just single projects in these bags. So this is a clue. I'm using the Prim Orifloss floss collection. And in here I have Prim and Proper by Lori Holt. This is a long-term WIP. And this one I'm stitching on, or was stitching on. It's 32 count Swiss dot. And you can see I've probably got about, not quite half done, probably about a third of it done. And I do really like this one. I think it's a nice design, and I love it on this dotted fabric. So I will be going back to that one. However, the other project that's in this bag is Flea Market Flowers. Again, I absolutely love this design, but I think it was a bad fabric choice. And I think a lot of the pieces that I'm not going to be taking forward into 2024 are down to bad fabric choices. And this one is, you can see I had a very, see how crumpled it is, a very measly start on the first flower, and I wasn't loving this even weave. I think it's a 32 count even weave. I think I did some tea dyeing on this, and I just wasn't enjoying the stitch, the fabric, and it just wasn't, it wasn't enjoyable. So as you can see, I quickly abandoned it. So I think that one needs to be a ditched project for the time being, but that's not to say I won't stitch Flea Market Flowers in the future. but just definitely not on that fabric. The next one's living in this Mad for Plaid bag from Fat Quarter Shop in the lovely pink, and this is a failed stitch along. I think quite a lot of us are guilty of that, aren't we? You start a stitch along with all good intentions and they just become start alongs. Now this is something that I will be picking up because it's beautiful and it's also going to be seasonal. This is the Love Notes, Love Note from Fat Quarter Shop. It's So Emma. This is a free chart on their website if you wanted to do this one. It was originally charted on 14 count Ada in slate grey with DMC, but I am stitching mine on a piece of, now what's this linen? Is this mystery linen? I don't have a tag in there. It's definitely a 36 count. Excuse the crease in the middle. And I'm using these beautiful flosses, silk flosses, the Belle Soie by Classic Colourworks. And these are a dream to stitch with. The colours are Porcelain Pink, Sister Scarlet, and Icing. It's blowing out a little bit. It's a nice ivory white, and I think it looks really pretty on this linen. So that one's a keeper. I hope I'm not going too fast. I'll give you as much information as I can as we go along our way. Okay, next up is this is one of Laurie's bag panels that I made into a bag with a cute little cherry charm, also by Laurie Holt. And in here I have a sale that I really would like to get back to. I've got another little bag inside from the panel with my flosses in. And this one is from Heartstring Samplery, and it's Never Let You Go. A really pretty sampler with a really pretty little verse on it, which I will read to you. You're probably familiar with it. It reads, I wish, in over one I would add, I wish I was a little seed, I'd grow and grow and grow, I'd twine myself around your heart and never let you go. So when I originally bought this, I was going to stitch this for Justin for a wedding present when we got married, but that didn't happen. Well, the wedding happened, but the sampler didn't happen. But I have got a bit of progress on this one. I'm stitching this on a 36 count. I will tell you the fabric in just a second, but this is 1/2. I've just started doing a little bit of 1/1 here in this little cartouche, but I'm pleased with my progress and how it's looking. Let me just see if I can tell you the fabric that I'm using on this one, because I think it's one from Vykky. Yeah, it's a West Green Loft Yarn Studio, and it's in the colourway Biscuit, a 36 count that I got from Vykky's Fabric of the Month Club, which I'm happy to report that I am continuing with into 2024. That fabric is just beautiful. So that one is in the Keep basket. Next up, this is a very oldie goldie. Again, my fabric choice wasn't great. A lot of these were from when I first started cross stitching or getting back into cross stitch, and if I was stitching them now I probably wouldn't make the same fabric choices, but some of them are too far gone in the stitching process to think about starting them again, so I will continue. But this next project is, oh, this is a bag from Sue in Australia. She sent me some lovely bags a while ago and I'm still enjoying them. And this is Barbara Anna's, what's it called? All Creatures Great and Small. So there you are. You've probably seen this one around quite a few times. I must try and hide that finger, it looks hideous. So a really lovely scene there based on the hymn All Creatures Great and Small. I love this. I like all the little individual motifs. When you stitch them, you get that little sort of buzz of a finish. These are all DMC equivalents. I think it was charted in Anchor. And again, this was my attempt at a little bit of hand dyeing on this fabric using a 32 count. I don't know, it was Murano. I think it may have been Murano. And I think I might need to put the board behind this one. Excuse me while I do that. I had to stitch a piece of fabric onto the top because I had started way too close. So you can see, although it's not a huge amount of stitching, the mottling is actually quite nice on this piece of linen or fabric. There's enough on there that I don't want to either abandon it or just turn it into something else. I do want to continue with this one because I think ultimately it will look really, really good once it's all done. So that's a keep as well. I may have to draw that curtain in a minute if the it seems a shame to block out the first sun of January. So that one's a keep. This is another bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags in this lovely, I think it's blackbird fabric. Some of my bags have got a bit crumpled, and I think that's why I need less projects in the basket. It's a bit like when you have too much stuff in your wardrobe and all your clothes get crunched up together. I think these projects need a space to breathe. This is from Whilst Iris Naps, and this is Anne Logan 1840, a Scottish alphabet sampler, a lot of which on the bigger letters is done in, oh there's that finger again, in eyelets, which I absolutely love. And I was eager to get down to those eyelets, but of course something else came along and distracted me. So I'll show you my progress on this. The fabric I'm using is a 36 count fibre on a whim in parchment. This is a lovely piece of fabric. And that is my small progress on Anne Logan. But really, really love how this one is starting to shape up. I'm using all the called for Weeks Dye Works flosses on this one. And some really lovely colours in there. So that's a definite keeper. Next up, this is a bag that I don't know the maker of. It hasn't got a label on it, but really cute with all the bees. This is like a linen fabric. And here, in here is living Brenda Gervais, Harrietta and Co. And poor Harrietta she's been passed over so many times for different projects, and she really needs to get done, hopefully for this Easter. So here is the chart. You've probably all seen this one, and she's another in the series that's similar to the Peppermint Pals, which is the snowman, which I've got in my dough bowl just over here. The Merry Old Soul, which is the Santa one, and I think there's a Halloween pumpkin boy, and of course Harrietta, and they're all a similar theme in the design. She's super cute, and she needs her time to shine. She's got no flosses in her bag. She's been robbed of her flosses. So I would need to track them all down. I was using all the called for. She's crumpled. She's got no flosses. She's got no legs. I think the animal charities will be on to me for cruelty to bunnies on this one. But there she is, and she is going to be super cute. So she needs to go in the keep pile. And we'll find your flosses, Harrietta, and get you going again. Next up, this is a very oldie goldie bag that I made a long time ago, one of my first project bags. It's a little bit dodgy. And in here I have another heartstring samplery, and this one is Grounding Force. And this is super cute because this has on it right down here the little chair with the cross stitch project, and then the floss goes all the way up to the angel or cupid or fairy, whatever you think she is. And I really, really like this design, but this is one that I'm on the fence on. Let's remind myself of the progress that I have, because I don't know where I would put it when it's done. I suppose it would make sense to be in here in my sewing room, but let me show you the progress on this one, and then we'll try and figure out what linen it's on. So the border's partially done. I've done the little tree, the sort of hill, and started on the house. So there's some progress. There's still enough linen to be useful if I chopped it off, but do I really want to do that? Probably not. I'm using a, she calls for Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works, but there is a DMC conversion inside the chart, so I am using the DMC conversion. I'm trying to see what fabric I used for this one. See if there's a tag or something in here. It's a 36 count because I'm stitching it over 1, but I don't think I have a note of the fabric in here. But it looks, it's on a Zweigart base. It looks like it might be a fibre on a whim or something like that. But apologies, I can't tell you exactly what that one is. Okay, so we'll put that in keep for now. Next project up is in one of my Liberty patchwork bags that I made with some navy blue linen. And this is a complete mystery to me what's in here. Okay, this is a really bad printout of a PDF pattern that I got from Etsy, and I'm trying to see who it's by. Atelier des Filles Brodeuses Collection Marquoise. If you're particularly interested in this chart, let me know and I'll try and give you better information on it. This is absolutely beautiful. Let me just grab it and I can share with you. I've got my flosses in here. I'm stitching it all in DMC 3866. It's a single, that's a better colour. And this is a piece of linen from Vykky. This is Sleepy Hollow, 36 count. Let me show you my progress on this one. It's so pretty. And again, I haven't done much, but I love this, and I'm thinking in my bedroom on the wall, this would be such a pretty piece in that sort of soft French grey and monochromatic. I think it's lovely. I don't know when I'm going to get round to stitching this one, but it's a keeper. Okay, the next project is in another Mad for Plaid bag. And this one is another Brenda Gervais. I think this might be the one that stole me away from Harrietta. This is Madame Cottontail, another little bunny. A bit more of a busy bunny, this one, than our Harrietta. And this one, I think I did just pulled from flosses in my stash. There may be a couple of called for in there. And it's a 36 count piece of linen because I'm stitching over 1. Let me just smooth her out a little tiny bit so I can show her to you. And you can see she's really, really pretty, and I think she'll make a lovely little pillow for Easter to go in my dough bowl or tiered tray or something like that. So there's a good start on her, so she needs to stay out, doesn't she? Perhaps she can join Harrietta in the same bag. They can hang out and do bunny stuff together. We're safe because it's 2 girls. We don't want loads of little bunny charts. Right, I'm going to try and even these piles up a little bit. The next bag I know has got quite a few projects in. I'm just going to grab a sip of my drink. Excuse me. This is a bag from Pauline at So Be Bags. It's really heavy, this one. I've got all my tomato stitching in here, apart from the hands-on design one that I shared earlier. So this might be a bit of a rummage fest. First one is from the Scarlet House, and it's Try to Mark Well. And I think I made a very small start on this. The linen I'm using is a 36 count linen in the colourway Catkin, and that's from Paula at Eva Faith. If you're regular viewers of my floss tubes, you'll be familiar with Paula. And quite a small start on this one, just a little bit at the top here. This I think is a 36 count Zweigart Edinburgh linen in, I think it's ivory, it might even be platinum. Oh no, I just said what it was, didn't I? I do beg your pardon. Yeah, it's 36 count Catkin. Apologies, Paula. So many WIPs, it's just blowing my mind. Okay, so that's the first one out of that bag. The next one I have in here, I've got quite a few charts in here. I don't think many of them are actual WIPs. Is that the only one? Shall I show you the charts while we're here? I've also got Queen of the Needle by Brenda Gervais. That one's not a WIP yet. Sorry, I'm going off piste, aren't I, with my WIP parade. I've also got Mice in the Sewing Room by Brenda Gervais. I've also got I Collect by Brenda Gervais. And what else is in here? I don't think I started on this one, did I? This is the PA Dutch Tomato Pink Heap by, yes, you guessed it, Brenda Gervais. Can you spot a theme here? I'm pretty sure I didn't start this one. Let me just check. No, that one's not started yet. And I have Tomato Row by October House. And this is the grand plan, to have a real big selection of tomato projects in my sewing room. Teresa Koga Needle and Flax, again not started yet. And I have got, there is another WIP in here. I have also got in here Keeper of the Pins by Brenda Gervais. And this one I know is, this is one where Alfie chewed the tag off. Hang on, let me see if it's in the bag. All those professional WIP parades you've been watching, and now you've got me rummaging around in my bag while I try and find stuff. I think this is another one from Paula, but I don't have the tags. I know that Alfie chewed it. But here's my progress. So I've completed 1 and 2, and I've figured out that I've got enough room to complete all the rest that I want to do. So there's a little bit of progress on that one. So just bear with me while I just pop all these back in the tomato bag, otherwise they will all get completely lost. So that one's definitely staying out too. Okay, are you all keeping up? This is exhausting work for the 1st of January. Another Made by Me bag. This is a strawberry quilted bag that I made, and no clue what's in here. This is, this is me being a naughty stitch-alonger. This is Bountiful by Fat Quarter Shop, and I need to get back to this because I really enjoyed stitching on this one. This is a 32 count Lugana in a barn check. This is upside down, isn't it? And you can see how the colours pop on it. And my plan for this was to make it into a project bag. You can see the full image there of how it will look. And I'm stitching this one on, with all the called for classic Colourworks flosses. Really pretty, bright, vibrant colours. So that's Bountiful. So that one needs to stay in the basket. Next up is another Made by Me bag. This is my Tilda nod to the American flag for some patriotic stitching that I was taking part with Fat Quarter Shop using cross-stitch charts from the Summer Memories book by Susan Ockey, which is published by It's So Emma. And I completed one and pulled some fabrics and started on another. So I've got a little start on this one here, and it's quite a small, this one. I'll just try and find it in the book to show you without showing you the chart, because I think there are about 8 actual cross-stitch designs in this quilting book. So let me see if I can put something over the chart. So it's this one here, whoopsie. So it's that one there, Freedom Flowers, that's in progress, and the one that I already completed is this one, Cherry Season. So I'd like to do some more work on those, and I've pulled that dotted fabric as well, because a couple of the charts use that dotted fabric, so I thought that'd be really nice as well. And I'm really lacking on smalls for sort of summer displays. The keep pile was actually hugely bigger than the my supposed to be trimming my whips down pile, so let's see how we get on moving forward. This is in another Sue bag with some of her lovely quilting on the back. Sue's in Australia and she's used some lovely fabrics showing sort of flora and fauna from Australia, and of course a lovely little kangaroo. I love this one. And in here is, I can find the, I don't think I've got a big image of this one. This is Hello Sunshine from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and again this is so very nearly done, and I need to get this one done. Mum's been nagging me on this one because we were going to, plan was to make it into a pillow, like a, you know, couch or chair pillow for her friend who is absolutely flamingo mad. And as you can see, it's just this little section here that I need to complete, and I think there's a couple of little flowers. I didn't realise this one was so close to being finished, so that definitely needs to be finished and release it from the WIP pile. They also do Hello Spring, Hello Autumn and Hello Winter as well in that series. Okay, this is a bag in Laurie Holt fabric that I didn't make. This is from Patchwork Paw Print, and they're on Etsy. Really cute design. And living in this one, this is a heartstring samplery, I can see. And this is Cross Stitch Nation. I'm just trying to grab the chart front so I can see. This was a printout. So this is Cross Stitch Nation. This is another that I intended for here in my sewing room. I don't know how big I think the walls are in here. Well, there is quite a lot of wall in here, but I think we get a bit carried away, don't we? With how, just imagining if all the WIPs that we had, if they were finished and framed, I mean obviously those that are not smalls, but if they were all framed and on the wall, would we actually have space for them? So just a little thought for you. And again, this one is quite far along. I've got quite a few headless stitches there, but it's well on its way, so that one needs to stay out. It's got quite a big border at the bottom. It's got like a red chevron all along here, but I might just finish the people and just call it quits at that. Or is that naughty? We'll see. we will see. That one can stay. Okay, this is another bag made by me, another Union Jack bag using some lovely Cath Kidston London print fabric, of which I have quite a bit of still in my stash. And in here I was doing a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop using the Star Spangled Ornaments pattern booklet, just for a bit of fun. And I think I got one design finished during that little series, and this is on a 25 count Lugana, and that was using all the called for Classic Colourworks flosses. And I have in here one of the mini tart tins they finished them in, and some lovely stripy Stitching with the Housewives ribbon for finishing. And I think I'll do a couple of those. I may not hang the tart tins, but they may look nice. My plan is to do a sort of like a collaboration of US and British patriotic pieces for that sort of June, July time, and pop them in my tiered tray along with some of those summer memories ones. So I thought that might be quite nice to have a little bit of a blend. Okay, we got to some real, these are the niggly ones coming up. This is another patchwork bag made by me. This is actually the one that I used on my tutorial that's here on my YouTube channel of how I join these patchwork blocks. So this is actually the bag from that tutorial. And in here, oh, this is the, I feel more guilty about this project than anything, and I need to just cleanse myself of that guilt because it's not happening on this fabric. This is Parade of Elephants by Hello from Liz Matthews, and this was to be, I was going to make it into a drum, and it was going to be for Enzo, my grandson Enzo, when he was born. And shameful nanny, I have not done it. I don't enjoy stitching on it. It's I've got a thing about stitching on white. I don't really enjoy it. So I've only got that far, and I think this one's going to have to go, and I may revisit it on another fabric at some point in the future. It's all on the called for. I think there's a DMC conversion in the chart. I've got all the DMC there. But yes, so I've had quite a lot of grandma guilt on that one, but I'm not going to be taking that one forward as it is. I'll put the chart back into stash, and as I said, I can always work on that one again in the future. This is another patchwork bag that I made, the watering can block from one of the Laurie Holt Farm Girl books. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, and just some Laurie Holt fabric on the back. No idea what's in this one. This is another Sal failure. I don't want to get on a downer doing this WIP parade, but when I realise how many things I haven't finished, I do feel a bit bad. But this is How Does Your Garden Grow? And I think I can do something with this. I don't honestly think I'm going to be able to complete it, but I think if I can finish this pair of strawberries here, I think I may be able, if I finish the strawberries and there are some more of the cabbages that go along there, then I think I could almost chop it there or somewhere and sort of make it into a pillow. Maybe I need to do a little bit more of the fence. Maybe I could make a strawberry. I'm sure there's something I could do with that amount of stitching. But it's a really cute design, but sadly didn't get finished. But I will make something pretty out of it. So I'm going to keep that one to one side. Okay, this is a bag from In Stitches X, and she's on Etsy. Gorgeous patchwork Laurie Holt fabric. I couldn't resist. I've got loads of Laurie Holt fabric. I can make bags, but sometimes you just need that instant gratification of somebody already making it for you on Etsy, don't you? Now what's in here? This is another heartstring samplery. This is the 5 Songbirds pin drum, and I fell in love with this. I think it's the colours. that I really like on this one. I've got a little bit of progress. I got a bit frustrated with this one because the colours in the chart didn't correlate always with the colours on the image on this photograph here. So I was trying to sort of switch between what was on here and what was on the chart. And okay, the fabric I'm using is a 32 count fibre on a whim affogato. Finding all the needle minders as well. And that's my progress on that one. I'm using, I think these are all the called for. There's a couple of DMCs in there, so I couldn't be bothered that day to put those on floss drops. A little bit of a mess. I think this one was in the car at one point. That's a point. I've got a project in the car. I think that's Baby It's Cold Outside. But that one's nearly finished. So yes, so that one is the 5 Songbirds pin drum. That is a keeper. I've just lost the fabric tag. I'll pop that back in. Okay, we're at the bottom of the right hand pile now. This is another Liberty bag that I made. And this has got, can you see the way the light's catching? This is gold linen. This is very fancy. This should have been a New Year's Eve project bag, shouldn't it really? And living in here is, okay, this is Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. And here's the chart. Beautiful. I just watched Nikki Noodle's latest floss tube yesterday, and it was so lovely to see her back on our screens, and she showed her finish of this, which is beautiful. She hasn't fully finished it yet, but her stitching of this chart is really lovely, and it's one that I am keen to get done. I've now I'm just waiting for the Octopus's Garden to be delivered. I've ordered that from 123 Stitch. I tracked down a copy of the 2024 Book of Days on there and thought I'd see if they had Octopus's Garden, and they did. So when that one arrives, I have got all of the charts for this. Now this is a piece of linen from Paula. This is 36 count linen in her colourway Catkin, and here's my progress. So not huge, but I was dying to get down to the iconic gates of the Strawberry Fields. It was an ex-children's home in Liverpool, as you may or may not be aware. But there are a series of, now this one always gets me. This is, how many are there in the Magical Mystery Tour? You're probably all shouting at me. There are 6 charts in the series, and this is the second of them. And I'm stitching it all on DMC conversion here, with the exception of the Gentle Art tin bucket. So that's a definite stayer. I think this one will eventually be framed, but I think some of the others may end up as little pillows, and I thought maybe with that one in on a little easel and the rest in a bowl next to it, something like that. You can see where my mind's going with that one, but very keen to get that one done. My elimination process is going terribly. I've got, I think, 3 things in the getting rid of pile, or you know, not carrying forward as an active WIP, and the rest is just a huge stack. So I'm going to move that one to one side because that's something I want to share with you at the end. This is another In Stitches X project folder that I have here, and this was kindly sent to me. Apologies, I can't remember the maker's name, but In Stitches X is her Etsy site, and in here now I think this might be this could be a contender. This is Country Cottage Needleworks Glitter Village. This has been my cross-stitching nemesis since I started stitching. You may be familiar with my I've got a project bag that has a panel from this series on it. That was my first iteration of this stitching this piece, and I didn't like it, but I didn't want to get rid of it, so I made it into a project bag, and I started it again on 32 count raw silver linen from Zweigart, and I love the effect of it. I hate stitching on it. Something about this piece, and I think because I've already stitched 3 or 4 of them already, I just can't seem to get back into the groove with this one. So again, I think I've probably got just enough space there. If I cut my linen right at the top of this house, I've got enough space for borders. I'll just put the little snowman's features on him and make that into a little pillow, and I think I'm going to call this one quits, because I just don't think it's ever going to happen. And again, I need to absolve myself of this one. So beautiful as it is, it's not going to happen. In here I have, that's not a WIP, that's just some stuff kitted up, so we'll get rid of that one. Okay, this is a bag that Paula made for me, and it has a sort of like a road map of London with all the major landmarks. Really cute. I can't remember what's in here. Let's have a look. Okay, this is a favourite. There's lots of little bits of orts everywhere. This is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Absolutely beautiful. Should be finished by now. Isn't finished. It's the time of year for it, isn't it, really? Let me show you my progress. This was a piece of XJU Designs linen. The colourway I can't remember, but I overdyed it because it was a bit too pinky. And I've got more done on this than I remember. What count did I say? I think it's 32 count because I'm stitching 2 strands. So here's my progress on Winter Rose Manor. The border met up and everything, so it's just that house. It's a big old house. I'm using all the called for flosses, mostly Weeks Dye Works. I think I had a little bit of a fiddle about with the bird, with the colour of the bird, because the colour that I had that was called for on my linen wasn't working very well. So I substituted, I'm all hands, aren't I? I substituted with this Tom and Lily Creations floss in their colourway Desert, which is a really nice sort of khaki greeny brown. So that is definitely, and I've got a frame for that. I was shopping before Christmas in the Range, which is a sort of a bargain sort of home store, and they had a frame that was one of those where there has all the multiple apertures cut out for lots of like a collage of photographs. But other than that, it was perfect, and it was about £2.49. It was really ridiculously cheap. So I thought if I whip out that piece in the middle, obviously I only need the frame, it would be perfect for Winter Rose Manor. Okay, we are getting there. We are getting there. This one, just one of these little cheapy bags from Amazon that are really handy, but sometimes the zips get caught. This is Snowballs for Sale by Laurie Holt. This was my card project for quite a while, until I swapped it out for Baby It's Cold Outside, because I thought I'd focus on something that I knew I could get a finish on sooner. So this is Snowballs for Sale. He is super cute. He is huge. He is the biggest snowman in the world. It may be because he's being stitched on a 25 count Lugana, but let's have a little look at him. He is gorgeous, but as I said, look, that's, you know, that's bigger than my palm, the body, and I've got quite big hands, so he is quite a large chap, but super cute. These scarves seem to take forever, but he's coming along and he's not going anywhere. I'm stitching him with all the called for DMC flosses. I've got lots of spare skeins of the 3865, which is being used as the white in the project bag. So he can go back. It probably won't surface again until next year, I wouldn't have thought. Then we have another bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags. This is my Gothic Halloween bag. Love it. And in here I have got lots of rustly things, lots of, if I find finishing items for a project that I think are perfect, I tend to pop them in the project bag, and what you can hear is a piece of Weeks Dye Works wool in this little rustly bag, so that's what you can hear there. Now let me just grab the front of the chart, and this is called Black Cat Sampler, and I think he is just the cutest thing. Now I'm not loving working on this fabric, I will say that. This is a piece of Weeks Dye Works 30 count onyx. It's quite, I'm guessing it's the old Weeks. It's quite a loose weave, and it isn't actually my favourite fabric to stitch on. I'm using the called for flosses, which are DMC, I believe. Yep, they're all DMC, and that's my progress on the Black Cat Sampler. And I've already got some black interfacing for when I finish it. I've got the felt to make the little hat. And I've got some fabric in the bag as well for the little ruffle collar. So it's super cute. I love it. I want the finished thing, but I am not enjoying that fabric. It's very loosey-goosey. So excuse the rustling while I put that one away. Another Halloween bag. This is using the Halloween kitty from Urban Chic. So I made this bag. And in here we have, I believe it's Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais. It is. Paula and I were doing a stitch along. I think Paula did get a couple of finishes. I'm stitching all mine on one piece of linen, so that's my excuse for not having any finishes. And I did Broomhilda, I did Trick or Treat, and then I made a start on the one with the crow, and that's the one where he is pulling. Let me see if I can show you an image. Oh, he's right on the front. He's pulling the little cart with the stack of pumpkins in. So that is really cute. This is a 36 count vintage country mocha that I'm stitching these on. I'm hoping to get them all, well, I've worked out I can get them all on this one piece, and then when they're done I will make them into pillows. If I start chopping bits out of the linen, it gives you less to work with, doesn't it? Especially if you're a hoop stitcher like I am. These are pretty much called for. Might have put a couple of substitutions in there. That's living in that little Halloween bag. We have got 2 more WIPs to go. Okay, this is another of my Sue bags. Sue sent me 3 bags, which was just pretty incredible. More Australian birds and flowers. And this is an autumnal / Halloween piece. It's on another piece of linen from Paula. It's on her 36 count straw. And this is Autumn Alphabet by Willow Hill Samplings. So let me show you this one. This is another one that should have been done a long, long time ago. So this is what I have on this one. Really cute. I downloaded this from Etsy, and I pulled my own flosses. I think some of the Harrietta ones ended up in here. You can see the lovely sort of chartreuse green and the aqua teal colours and the greys. Really love the colour palette of that one. All I need is an extra, not too many more hours in the day. I think about another 2 would do me. I'd be happy with that. I'm not greedy. 2 more hours in the day that I can just have a stitching time, please. That would be lovely. And finally, in this big Mad for Plaid project bag, I have got my latest, or I've pulled the charm off. It's this finger. I can't do anything with this finger. Okay, this is my latest stitch along that I'm working on. This is the Shine Bright sampler, and this is from the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. And let me see if I can show you an image of it. This is being done in 12 monthly parts, and here is it in its original colourway, and it's been recoloured and relaunched using these lovely Orifloss colours. And this was all ironed neatly, but it's got a bit crumpled, and I have got my November and December assignments completed, and I'm going to be starting on January, because obviously we are now in January. So that brings us to the end of the WIP parade. I hope I wasn't too quick. I didn't want to make it too long, because I know there's so many other WIP parades you probably want to get onto. But I'm looking forward to getting this little lot sorted out now, catching up with some other WIP parades on FlossTube, and getting some stitching done myself. So once again, a Happy New Year, and thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.